And so, my dear graduates, this class was a gift to me that was handed over by their previous dean, Reverend Alice Bandy. This powerful group of ladies, this amazing mix of visionaries and creative forces. There's no other word but that. They are a force to be reckoned with. And I'm glad to say they are a force for God and for light in the world. And we have walked this past 3 years together, and it has been an honor for me to serve you and to grow in this position with you as you have grown in the program with me. And as I say, it's been an honor. And I have seen you sitting on this stage from the moment that we began together. And so this is a fulfillment of a vision for me, and my heart is filled. And I know that as we walk forth towards the Silomar and then out into your ministry, I watch and see the amazing ministry that I have seen from the moment I met you come into amazing manifestation. And all of those who have been waiting for you to serve them are grateful, and I am grateful. And so, we have allowed the divine to pick the students, since we have 7, and Kevin doesn't want to be here till tomorrow, to answer the call to ministry. And God picked Martha Quintana. And so, 1 second. And so I get to introduce Martha Quintana today. One of those forces to be reckoned with is Martha Quintana. She's a practitioner at the Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living. She's a powerful practitioner, an amazing light. She is one of those who will speak the truth, and she will speak it clearly and loudly. But Reverend Catherine, but Reverend Catherine, but Reverend Catherine. And it's always a way to open to greater creativity, to release boundaries in any sense of limitation, and see in new ways how all of this ministry can come together in its own unique way that is Martha coming into the world. She's one of our distant students, as we have many graduating. So not only has she had the program, the academics, the inner work, the family commitments, but she's also been traveling from Albuquerque to be here. And so not only does she have the entire program, but she has that added extra time away from her family, her beloved family. And so we are grateful to them for giving her to us, to the world. And we are grateful for Martha for saying yes, and saying yes to answer the call today. So I welcome Martha Quintana.
Can I use this? Do I turn this?
Turn on.
Yeah, how do I do it? Like that? Okay.
Well, Reverend Kathy Hearn, thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Christian, and thank you, Reverend Catherine. Last night we had dinner at Reverend Catherine's beautiful, beautiful home, and I was reminded in lovely ways that when we say this yes, that when we come into this ministry, that we don't come by ourselves. We bring a whole group of people with us, sometimes kicking and screaming, but we bring them with us, and these are our spouses, our significant others, our children, our families, our friends. We bring a whole world with us into this ministry, and I would like you, on behalf of the graduates, on every minister in this room and everywhere, the practitioners, I would like you to help me thank our families for the work that they do. Please. Thank you. So in answering this divine call, I actually looked to one of my sources of inspiration, and that's my mom. My mom is from a small town in northern New Mexico, in Taos, New Mexico. It's small. And about 3 years ago, her furnace broke. And so she called the furnace man, and the town is so small that there is only the furnace man. So the furnace breaks, and she calls the furnace man, and the furnace man comes out 3 times, and each time he leaves, the furnace is more broken than when he arrived. So she says, I finally got so mad I fixed it myself. And I said, well, did it work? She goes, oh yeah. And I said, well, what did you do? She said, I read the instruction manual. So in answering this divine call, when my life is sometimes not working, when the light hasn't been so good, I turn to my fellow graduates because they've been my how-to manual to go to the divine. And I wanted to tell you briefly, only because Reverend Catherine said I had 5 minutes or they were going to pull me off the stage. So I'm going to tell you briefly what I've learned from my fellow graduates. From Susanna Baer, I've learned compassion and the strength of vulnerability, and to step out and just say yes. For Michelle Ingalls, that woman, talk about powerhouses. She is already a minister in Grants Pass, Oregon. She steps out boldly every day and says, yes, I've learned wisdom and kindness and joy from her. Oh, Nicole, oh my God, Nicole. Nicole is, talk about stepping outside the boundaries. Nicole knows about technology. She's taking our philosophy into every corner of the planet. Anybody, anywhere that wants to come here, who wants to be healed, that separation from God to be healed, they'll go to our friend Nicole. So she is powerful. And then my friend Barbara Novak, she let me stay at her place every time for 3 years. And yeah, thank you. That was, yeah, exactly. Thank you. From Barbara, I've learned how to just be curious, how to laugh, and the grace and graciousness, for she's been my friend. And my friend Kathleen Sibley, she's funny. Oh my God. The woman has a sense of humor, and I've learned joy from her, and wisdom and insight and wonder. And finally, Jennifer Spear, who's just classy. I mean, she's just flat out classy. And I've learned, yeah. And I've learned the beauty of God from her. And finally, a little bit about myself. Last November at a retreat, we were asked to write a covenant with God. That's an agreement with God. So I thought I'd share mine with you and recommend, if you haven't written a covenant with God, do so. It clears up a few issues. And it also gives you that Old Testament feeling, you know, you just kind of get in there, you know. My covenant with God is the faith of God is my faith. The heart of God is my heart. The love of God is my love. I, Martha Ellen Quintana, daughter of Viola and Orlando, sister of Michael, Robert, Cecilia, Orlando, and Antonio, friend of Carolyn and Frank, wife of Mason, mother of Magdalena, dedicate my life to God. I surrender all my possessions, all my affiliations, everything to follow her wherever she may lead. Knowing this, God blesses my family, my mother, my father, my brothers, my child, everyone, back to the beginning of time where we enter the human race. And knowing this, my way is sure, my heart is good. And I say yes every day with a passion, a hunger. I say yes, for I want to know God. I want to know her so completely that there is no difference. There is nothing that stands between us any longer until I am absorbed by her again.